So in this work, I will tell the story about the light rays, and this is a metaphorical way to describe the whole narrative behind it, and the narrative which actually came and grew from my general practice, where I'm working on where I'm concerned with the issues like technology and what does mean technology right now and what does mean technology for the future issues. Because in a certain point, technology was always a cultural part which following the development of humanity, but right now it is in a certain level where we cannot distinguish ourselves from technological part anymore. And technological parts start to be really sophisticated, more and more powerful. That's why it's also influence our cultural development and somehow predict in which direction we are going.
Because I work with a multi-layered complex narrative, the research itself takes quite a long time. I would say that an idea can be born for a variety of reasons, and the first spark can be very quick, generating a lot of thoughts and attempts to find references in discourses. Most of the time is devoted to delving into the roots of the idea or narrative and making sense of it from many critical perspectives as possible. There's also research agreed upon the scientist and attempt to address the method on a meta level and a fair amount of supervision. When the theoretical part is described, the production of the aesthetics itself inscribed into the theme starts, involving both directions of material from experience and history and from imagination directed towards the future. The production themselves may depend on the context in which the work was done. I think that thought emerges from sensitivity to context. That is, the first is the context and I'm in the second is the thought and the system of connections around it. These connections also predict the material side of the work, as I often use objects found in space or even use the space or building itself. And I feel that material is certainly an important component to address the observer, to from the sensual side to absorb them. But if we turn to the nature of the thoughts and feelings, we see that this suggested dichotomy is of a different nature, as if connected to language and feelings are embedded in bodily presence or physical perception. For me, both have all the components, perhaps is it close to synesthesia. And I think that the essence of my work always comes from the field of a certain discourse, where certain problems and propositions are formed, as well as links of interaction and necessarily criticism itself. I feel very inspired. For me, for example, it was very important to work with a team of the Center of Research and Right-Wing Extremism, Building Democracy and Social Inclusion, COMREX, because they explore the issues and mechanisms of science in general, and we are talking about the state of science today. Two questions about how science functions and how to address its complexity and build the trust. This is very much in line with my values. I have also been enriched by discussions with my colleagues Cynthia Möller, Friederike Wilhelmine Wistruba, Andreas Bielmann, Annika Kleinschmidt, Johannes Streiberger and Jakob Tinius about how skepticism and trust, facts and misinformation and the challenges facing science today works. I also speak and deal with the visibility of underrepresented communities, mostly displaced communities who are forced to immigrate because of all sorts of violent political decisions. I myself belong to such a community, and this film, which is occasional references to alienation, to someone alien from outer space, also speaks of a sense of alienation.